In the heart of the forgotten city, where old office towers loomed like silent sentinels, Maya stood at the edge of the unknown, her heart racing with a blend of skepticism and exhilaration. She was a thrill-seeker, a lover of the unexplained, and her weekends were often spent alongside her best friend, Leo, diving into the world of ghost stories and urban legends. But this weekend felt different. They had stumbled upon the rules of the notorious elevator game, a ritual whispered about in dark corners of the internet, and Maya was intrigued. Leo, dismissive as ever, set up his camera in the lobby of the old office tower on Grand Avenue, a place that seemed to breathe the history of its past through its creaking walls. "Total bullshit," he scoffed, adjusting the lens. "I'll be right here. Just tap your comms unit if you get spooked." Maya smiled confidently, her mind racing with anticipation as she stepped into the brass-paneled elevator. The doors closed with a soft sigh, sealing her in a small enclosed space that felt both constricting and thrilling. She inhaled sharply, the scent of dust and aged metal filling her lungs, and began the ritual, pressing the buttons deliberately. 4, 2, 6, 2, 10. The elevator lurched violently, and Maya's heart leapt into her throat as it dropped momentarily, the digital display flickering in the dim light. It was an instant of failure. One flashed above her, but relief washed over her as she remembered Leo's thumbs up from across the lobby. Her excitement returned. But then the doors slid open to reveal a woman standing silently, tall and eerily serene. She wore a flowing white dress that swayed gently as if caught in an unseen breeze, and her long black hair cascaded down, obscuring her face. Maya's breath caught in her throat. The rules were clear: do not look or speak. As the doors closed, a chilling silence enveloped them. Maya's heart hammered in her chest as the elevator began to ascend, defying the very rules they had believed in. The floor numbers clicked by, and with each passing digit, a foul stench invaded the air, like decay and damp earth. The weight of dread pressed against her as her comms unit crackled to life. Leo's frantic voice barely a whisper through the static. "Maya, the camera, you're alone in there. Get out." But terror petrified her. She couldn't move. The elevator dinged softly, arriving at the 10th floor, but instead of the office lobby, she was met with a long, gray corridor, swallowed by darkness, dimly illuminated by a blood-red light that seemed to pulse with some unseen heartbeat. The air felt stagnant, heavy with a silence that pressed against her ears. And there she was, the woman in white, standing at the far end of the corridor, her head tilted unnaturally, hair veiling her face like a shroud of secrets. A primal urge to escape surged within Maya, but the buttons wouldn't respond. Her frantic attempts to return to safety were in vain. The woman took a jerky step forward, and Maya felt a scream building in her throat, stifled by the overwhelming terror. "Come on," she whispered desperately, mashing the buttons until finally the elevator doors slid shut and the descent began. The familiar hum returned, and just like that, the putrid smell vanished. The elevator opened back into the real lobby, where Leo stood, pale and trembling, the camera hanging limply from his hand. "Maya, you just vanished. The elevator was here, but it was empty." For 5 minutes, breathless, Maya stumbled out, her mind racing. "She was in there with me, the woman in white." Confusion morphed into horror as Leo played back the footage. It showed Maya inside the elevator, a lone figure pressed against the wall. But in one blink-and-you-miss-it frame, a blurred pale face with hollow eyes hovered over her shoulder, a reminder of the darkness she had invited into her life. Days turned into weeks, and Maya grappled with the aftermath of the encounter. She tried to bury the memory, dismissing it as a figment of her imagination, a panic-induced hallucination. Yet the scent of rotting flowers began to haunt her apartment, and flickering lights became a nightly occurrence. Each evening, as night descended, she would catch a glimpse of a blurred figure in the reflective surface of her dark window, a woman in white, lurking just beyond her reach. Maya had followed the rules. She hadn't spoken or looked. Yet the game wasn't about winning. It was about opening a door. And once that door was ajar, some entities didn't need an invitation. They simply followed you home. All she could do was hope that she could find a way to close that door before it was too late.